Good morning, everyone. We are continuing here in the words of the Horowitz in the Sefer HaMitzvos HaKotzar. We are holding by Mitzvahs Loisa, say the negative commandment, Mem Beis, number 42. Shalolimnaya she'er k'tzus v'ayna mi'ishtay. A person is not allowed to withhold she'er. We'll see what that means. K'sus, we shall see that. V'ayna mi'ishtay, from his wife. And this is the mitzvah over here, the prohibition that a husband has not to violate against his wife. And if he follows the prescription of the Torah, he will be zeicher to a beautiful life of Shalom Bayis, a wife that will always be happy and assured that her husband is devoted and committed and will always take care of her in the things that she needs. Shenema, like it says in the Torah, she'era ksusa va'enasa lo yigra. A husband is not allowed to diminish or hold back these three things. What are these three things? She'era elam mezainos. Number one, the husband is obligated to make sure that he provides his wife with sustenance. He has to give her food so she eats. She has to be satisfied and taken care of in that area. Ksusa, what is ksusa? Kemashmai, it's clothing. A husband has an obligation to make sure that his wife is clothed, that she feels comfortable, she feels respected, she feels that she has what she needs. Ainasa means tashmi shamita. A husband has an obligation to be intimate, have intimate relations with his wife. Certainly after she goes to the mikvah, and even more times than that a month, to make sure that his wife is happy and that she is satisfied and that the bond of love between the two of them is very strong. If a husband holds himself back from one of these three things, and he doesn't give her either her sustenance, her food, her ksusa, her clothing, or he doesn't have relations with her, and it's all mirtzayna, it's all of his own volition, he decides that he doesn't want to give this to her, because he wants to distress her or cause her pain, he has just transgressed this prohibition. Meaning, if a person is poor, Rahman al-Islam, and it's hard for them to afford enough food, it's hard for them to afford enough clothing to be able to put upon his wife so that she feels good about herself and she feels that she is being taken care of. So he's not doing it to cause her pain and distress. He's doing it because he's under duress. He doesn't have the proper funds that is necessary in order to be able to provide her with what she needs. However, says the Horowitz, this prohibition is only transgressed when a husband cognitively or with his own volition, and he calculatively over here makes a decision not to give her one of these three things, because he knows that if she doesn't have new clothing this month, she's going to be in sorrow, she'll be in pain. He knows that if he doesn't feed her the foods that she likes, she's not going to be happy. He knows that when she goes to the mikvah, if he ends up deciding, which is a very wicked thing for a husband to do, he doesn't want to be with her, so that he knows how much pain and anguish, and perhaps that might be the one that causes the most, because it makes a woman feel so rejected and dejected that her husband is not anticipating and looking forward to being with her when she comes back from the mikvah. She feels emptiest as you could possibly imagine, which is a source for tremendous pain in marriages and the destruction of Shalom Bayis. So he does it with the intention litzarar ulanoiso, to cause her pain and distress. The husband has transgressed this prohibition, which means that a husband who does the opposite, he is careful to make sure that he is always providing his wife with the food that she needs. Husbands, if you're not a cook, make sure that every once in a while you walk into the kitchen and you make your wife a delicious breakfast. You pop in for a lunch and you surprise her and you make her delicious lunch. It's your anniversary. It might be mikvah night. It's something special. It's her birthday. You decide that instead of going out to one of these restaurants and spending hundreds of dollars where anyway it's noisy and there's music in the background that you don't like and it's a schlep to get there and it's not even comfortable, you decide, you know what, we're going to have a private dinner at home tonight. I'm going to do the cooking, and you make your best gourmet meal that you possibly can, the way that your wife likes it. Give her what she needs. Give her what you agreed to give her. And when it comes to ksusa, when it comes to clothing, does it mean, husbands, you have to give the credit card to your wife and let her shop till she drops? Sometimes that's what it means. Before Yom Tiv, before a special occasion, maybe she was on a diet for the last 6 months and she's feeling very good about herself and she needs to go buy new clothing. Or maybe the opposite, maybe she wasn't on a diet and maybe she gained weight and she's not feeling good about the clothes that she has that are too tight. So she has to go to the store and buy herself a new wardrobe. If you could afford it and you could support her in these areas, give her the credit card and let her go and let her shop, because you have an obligation to make her happy in these areas. And of course, the Enosai Tashmish Amita, it is without going into details, but of course it is the most private and the most sacred act that a husband and a wife can be involved in. It is that which bonds and unites a couple more than anything else. And it shows the great love and the concern and the sincerity that a husband has for his wife. How dare a husband withhold that pleasure and that simcha and that nachas and that feeling, that good feeling to the woman who knows how much her husband loves her? How dare he withhold that from his wife because he wants to be mitzayir, he wants to cause her pain or distress. And therefore, when a person does these three mitzvahs, these three aspects of Shalom Bayis in the right way, you are defining your house, you're defining your relationship as a relationship where the wife always knows how much her husband cares about her. A wife that knows that, she never has any doubts. She always feels loved. She feels secure. She feels safe. She relies upon her husband for everything. And she walks around b'simcha all the time, knowing deep in her heart how much her husband cares and loves for her. Have a wonderful day.